So we see this same thing in the Edfu temple, in its original place. And this, again, the term is naos or naos, N-A-O-S. And we see this in the Holy of Holies, the inner sanctum of the Edfu temple. And it's in its original place in the back of the Holy of Holies chamber, the inner part of the temple in the Edfu temple, which also housed one of these solar arc artifacts.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the land of Chem. I'm your host and the author. My name is Jeffrey Drum. Thank you all so much for joining me again.
All right, everyone, welcome back. Now, today, we investigate one of my all-time favorite sites, featuring bizarre ancient chemistry technology artifacts and one of the most mysterious pyramids in all of Egypt. This is Sunday Site Visit 119 from the enigmatic location known as Elephantine Island. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you all so much for the support. I think that's it for today's intro, so without further ado, let's get right to it. All right, everyone, here we go with tonight's episode. All right, everyone, welcome back. Let me take all this off. My sun protection for today. It's been a while since we did a formal Sunday site visit. I think we haven't done one since in Japan.
That's right.
And I apologize for the delay in videos over the past 2 weeks. We just finished with an absolutely epic Land of Chem 2025 full Egypt tour.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. The biggest group I've had thus far. We covered all the sites in Lower Egypt. Saqqara, full access day. Dashur, private special permission to Abu Sir, full day on the Giza Plateau, private entry into all 3 chambers of the Great Pyramid at night, Old Cairo Museum, flight to Luxor, Luxor Temple, Karnak Temple, Dendara, Seti I, the Osirion, and a 4-day Nile cruise to all of the sites in Upper Egypt, Edfu Temple, Kamombo Temple, Abu Simbel, Dendara. And then the last site on the expedition is the location that we are exploring today, which is a site known as Elephantine Island, the first cataract of the Egyptian civilization on the Nile River. And this is an absolutely bizarre, just teeming with ancient mysteries at this site due to the numerous eras of occupation in this particular location. So, Elephantine Island. And this entire island and the structures that are built here are on a massive outcrop of red granite bedrock. So Aswan is the location for the famed red granite quarries of ancient Egypt. And as you'll see in just a minute, all of the structures, well, let me put it this way, the most ancient structures here on Elephantine Island are integrated directly with this red granite bedrock, which is very, very different from the pyramid structures that I usually cover in Lower Egypt that are built on limestone bedrock. For example, the limestone Mokattam formation of the Giza Plateau, very, very different. And I'll turn around here so you can see across the river. We're right on the bank of the Nile River right here. And you can see these huge blobs of red granite. All of this over here is red granite. And as we walk around the site today, you'll get a chance to see, in my opinion, possibly the most mysterious pyramid in Egypt. And there's a number, like I said, there's a series of occupations of the structures here on Elephantine Island that date back to prehistoric Egypt, all through the Old Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, and Late Kingdom. And as we walk through the site, you'll get a chance to see all of the repurposing of these ancient structures, the different layers of the site, and we're also going to walk around to investigate the area that was the location for the Israelite temple here on Elephantine Island that is suggested to want to be one of the final resting places of the Ark of the Covenant before it was moved from Egypt into Ethiopia. So again, one of the most mysterious sites in Egypt, in my opinion. Alexa and I were out here yesterday. Where is she? There we go. So we were out here yesterday. We got a private tour around the island, and we're able to access some areas that we may or may not be able to get to see today, but I'll put in some footage when we get to this particular structure. All sorts of evidence of ancient chemistry and who knows what kind of ancient rituals being performed here on Elephantine Island. So, you ready?
Let's go.
Let's go. I'll follow you. We gotta go around this way.
Look at this beautiful capital pillar.
Yeah, so there is basically all the stuff on top. The newer stuff is Ptolemaic, Greek, and later Roman period occupation of the site. But you'll see here, you know, this is Nubian sandstone, but this is a huge piece of red granite. And the red granite is embedded in the foundation of all of the newer structures here. Evidence of this repurposing, and this is even according to the conventional story of the occupation of Elephantine Island, that it was repurposed during many different periods of Egypt. So we're gonna take you along to see the entire site. We found some specific areas of interest that we want to get on camera today. So again, this is a huge piece of red granite here. It used to be one single piece. Massive slab of red granite. And we'll start here with the Satet Temple. First, I want to show you so there's a bunch of channels, conduits, all over the island. You can see this one here. There's a piece there and a piece here running down this staircase. And as we get to the end of the tour, I'll show you that there are some channels on the island that are absolutely water drainage. This most likely being one of them. Coming from the paving foundation of the temple. This is the Khnum temple. Khnum is the creator god of ancient Egypt. However, there's some unusual features about the paving of this upper floor that don't necessarily tie into this being drainage, because the paving up there is concave. There's two significant dips. So that's somewhat contradictory to the idea of that being a drainage conduit. There is one near the Nilometer where the conduit goes directly off of the side of the island into the Nile River, which I have no argument there that is a drainage conduit. So this is a lion head, and it's actually a spout. You see this little channel here and this feature here. So this was a channel. You can see the lion's head here. And I've always wondered if there was something like this attached to the end of the conduit system at Abu Sir that has that giant collection bowl. And we'll see here in just a minute that there are some features of this site in regard to the conduit channel system that don't add up for it being drainage, because there's collection bowls. So this is the Satet Temple, 18th dynasty. So we're much later in the chronology of occupation of Elephantine Island with this temple. But again, I want to show you everything for those of you that may never get a chance to come all the way out here. Some interesting hieroglyphs here. You see the snake intertwined with the lotus. We have some jed pillar hieroglyphs here. For those of you that have been really closely paying attention or on the members channel, you'll know that the jed pillar is an ancient lightning arrestor. And the symbolism of the jed pillar is connected to balance and stability, the backbone of Osiris. But the function as a lightning arrestor integrated into these temple and pyramid complexes, protecting against excess voltage, indicates exactly that, the balance and stability of electrical systems. Again, a lot of this is reconstruction. We're not going to cover the temple features too much, but I just wanted to give you a quick walk through the temple site so you can see everything that's out here as we make our way toward the Elephantine Island Pyramid, which, in my opinion, is the most enigmatic pyramid in Egypt. And there's a number of reasons for that. We'll get to that when we get there. Here we have Khnum, the creator god.
What's the triad? Khnum, Satet, Anuket?
I believe so, which is the god of the Nile River flood.
The inundation.
Yes, yes. All right. So, anyone that saw the video Secrets in Plain Sight, Khnum created human beings according to Egyptian mythology using, I think it was clay and a potter's wheel, quite comparable to all of the other mythological creation stories out there, that this god created human beings. And over here there are some interesting containers. So these sandstone, there's two very distinct types of containers out here. You have these that are sandstone, a little bit small to be a burial. They're all the same size. None of them are adult size, but back here you can see these two that are made from black granite. And as I was just discussing with my tour group as we toured the Cairo Museum, there are absolutely sarcophagi from the dynastic period. However, when they are burials, they are covered in elaborate hieroglyphs that indicate the person that was buried therein. None of these have any inscriptions, no hieroglyphs. The ones back there, the red granite ones, are completely devoid of inscription. You can see the lids of these things here. I don't think these are burials. Okay, so here's the staircase with that channel leading down. yeah, it's a good eye, and I don't know that we'll be able to. A lot of this stuff is inaccessible. So there's also residential occupation of Elephantine Island, but let me make sure to point it out right. Yeah, here. There's a big black granite altar of some sort. Definitely not compatible with all of this mud brick. The mud brick is later residential facilities here on Elephantine Island. Okay, so here you'll see the reappearance of this channel conduit, and in my opinion it's directly connected to this temple over here, which yesterday we had a chance to get inside of there. So we'll follow the conduit downhill here. And it leads into this. A basin, collection basin of some sort. But that's not it for the channel. See, this piece here makes a reappearance. We have no idea where the origin of this piece is, nor is this one directly connected. It may be connected into that one leading down the staircase, but given the fact that there's been no thorough excavation, I mean, all you would have to do is just dig and follow this here to see where it goes. But this one disappears back onto the ground. This conduit here leading into this collection basin. So now we're going to walk over to this temple that has a channel conduit system in it that is absolutely not for water drainage. You can see there's reconstruction of some mud brick basins here. There's one here, there's one here, and these are all over the island, these mud brick basins. And we had a chance to get inside this one yesterday, and thankfully Alexa was filming, and I'll show you what I can today, and then I'll put in a clip here. All right, so you can see the inside of the temple here. The shade, that's not gonna... you can see that. Okay, so there's what they would call a hotep, or an altar of some sort right here. And you can see the channel is coming from the hotep or altar, and then it leads down here and disappears into this hole. And I'll put in a quick clip now so that you can see the footage from inside of this temple and our investigation and analysis of this altar type feature in conjunction with this conduit and channel system. And the main takeaway from that we were discussing yesterday evening after we left the site is that hotep or altar, there's nothing there that is indicative of the amount of volume of liquid that would justify this big conduit or channel system. They would have to be pouring a ton of liquid constantly onto this hotep or altar to have it then flowing down through this channel system and then disappearing wherever it goes. So this is called the sanctuary. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that name. But this is 12th dynasty.
If it's Heka Ib, that means magic heart.
Okay.
That's interesting.
She just said Heka Ib. So the sanctuary of Heka Ib. My wife Alexa has done an amazing job learning hieroglyphs. Heka Ib means magic heart.
Yes.
So the sanctuary of the magic heart. So for any of you that have been following my research from the very beginning, magic and the mythology surrounding it is ancient chemistry. To the onlooker or the uninitiated, magic and chemistry are the same thing. So for example, you know, there's this alchemist or wizard sorcerer, and he has 2 containers, glass containers of clear liquid, and he mixes those 2 liquids together, and all of a sudden it turns into a red liquid, right? The mythology of Jesus turning wine into, or water into wine, is indicative of this same sort of thing. So you have 2 jugs of water, and all of a sudden it turns into a red liquid. This is a chemical reaction we know today. But to the onlooker, the uninitiated, that is watching this sorcerer conduct this magic ritual, it would appear to be magic. So when I hear sanctuary of the magic heart, this is indicative of a chemical laboratory of some sort where they were performing these ancient alchemical rituals. And I do use the term ritual for ancient chemistry because it was something sacred. It was a practice exclusively for the priest alchemist class. So it was absolutely a sacred alchemical ritual. So I'll put in the footage now so that you can see the inside of this and get an up close look at that conduit system.
Okay. Wow, that's an intricate hotep.
Yeah, there's a whole system. It starts here. System 1, 2, 3. Going from 1, 2, 3 here. And then out. There's another one here.
Another channel here.
It's gone. It goes down here. Here would be the area. This could be part of it here. This channel could be part of it.
Then exits the
But it
building.
doesn't have the side pieces like that. So I was expecting to see something here. But here, well, you get a picture of this from this area. All right, everyone, I hope you're enjoying the video, and please remember to subscribe to our 3 other channels. My wife Alexa's channel, Archeo Alchemy, our mutual international travel and culinary adventure channel, Let's Go with Lex and G, and the best channel on YouTube, Egyptian Trash Cats. For all you cat lovers out there, ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you all so much for the support. Now, back to the video. All right. So we're now going to walk through. This is like the residential quarters here at Elephantine Island. And if we find, we haven't been back this way before. All mud brick back in through here. And as you'll see, there's pottery shards and all sorts of smashed artifacts all over here. Here you can see pieces of red granite that are not part of these mud brick constructions. They're part of the foundation of much older stuff that was out here. Now, at this point, we can say, so here's a big piece of red granite. There's a hearth or some sort. You know, again, this is just residential stuff. Hearth, fireplace, or something of that nature. So, interestingly enough, we'll tell the story of the archaeologist yesterday. So there's an archaeological team currently doing excavations here on Elephantine Island. And we learned yesterday that this German team, they said that they were German and Swiss, but the lady we talked to yesterday was definitely German. And so I'll show you the area where they were sorting the artifacts. And then I'll clue you in on the discussion we had yesterday. So we were walking around we knew that they were here because we've been out here for the past several days. And this German team is currently doing excavations in the area where this Israelite temple was located. So that kind of immediately raised my eyebrows. Yeah, so here we see a more conjunctions of the channel system in through here. So you can literally see this channel is running into a basin here. This is the square basin. There's another one over here that's definitely a ritual purification bath of some sort. But this, again, you see the channel here, runs into this square, well, rectangle. Again, this is cracked right here, cracked through the middle, but this is the channel leading into this rectangular collection basin here. So we'll go around this one. So this says cult installation, 12th dynasty. Cult of what? They call so the pyramid here is also called a quote-unquote cult pyramid. They use the word cult as nomenclature for things that they don't know what it is. So Temple of Sesostris, we'll walk through here real quick, and then don't worry, I'll get back to my story here in just a second. But I want to make sure that you see. And doing some restoration work in through here. Okay. So snuck up on that guy and his breakfast. Okay, so over here. And I'll resume my story, and then I want to take another look at this basin over here. So we happened to notice yesterday that, so this is an archaeological artifact sorting area. You can see here on the table, they have fragments of all sorts of clay pots and a variety of different artifacts they're sorting and categorizing over here. So we noticed that there was a lady over here, and we were just trying to get some information about, you know, what exactly they were looking for, etc., etc. So we started asking some questions, and this lady was definitely German. And he said, well, so what do you think about the Israelite temple that was here? Was there any evidence that this thing existed? And she was adamant that it was a myth, that there was no such thing.
Nein.
She said, "Nein, the Jew temple is not here." You know, making all of this rhetoric up about this thing not existing at all.
She was so fluffy.
She was very, very upset about the line of inquiry because we were kind of pressing her about it. And I was like, well, what about the texts that say it was here? And what about the archaeological excavations that found the foundations that literally match the blueprints of King Solomon's temple? All the measurements are there. No, this is not true, blah, blah, blah. So she was very upset. So then we continued walking around the island, and we ran into the rest of the archaeological team that were wrapping up their dig near this Israelite King Solomon temple. And so we asked another member of the team the exact same question, and she was like, yeah, absolutely it exists. These are the guys that found it. They found the foundations, we know the texts, we know the chronology, we know everything. It absolutely existed here. So this, I don't know what the nationality of the other woman was, but the first lady was definitely German. So it doesn't get any more Indiana Jones and what is the name of that movie? The Ark of the Covenant, the Quest for the Ark, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Doesn't get more Indiana Jones than the Germans out here digging at some ancient Israelite temple that was said to be the housing or one of the final resting places of the Ark of the Covenant before it was moved into Ethiopia. And I'll talk about that story when we get over to that side of the island. Again, I just wanted to get another shot of this. This is an amazing in situ artifact that's connected directly into this channel, and something was flowing through here into this collection basin here. Yeah, but the lady was very upset that we were asking her about the Jew temple, and I was just trying to get some honest information about their interest and, you know, what they may have found and, you know, whatever. But she was like, no, this is a nine, very, very flustered and upset that we were asking about it. Yeah, why are the Germans out here digging at this ancient Israelite temple? Still looking for ancient Israelite artifacts. So here's another part of the temple, and they have here what I would call a lustration basin that you can see here. Hey Lex, go down in here and sit in the basin. So lustration is an ancient ritual of purification. You know, baptism and all of the, you know, a mikvah, all of these later traditions are representing the exact same process, a ritual of purification by water known as lustration. And you can see here, this is a bathtub, for lack of a better term. I like lustration basin, sounds fancier. And you can see here that there's a channel right here that would fill this lustration basin. So thus far, we've seen Temple of the Magic Heart, Temple of this alchemical ritual connected to the heart. We have these lustration and purification basins. We have channels and conduits that lead into collection basins. This entire site is indicative of an ancient alchemical laboratory, workshop, processing complex, and it has some of the oldest chronology in Egypt, again dating back to the pre-dynastic era. You can see here, so there's a lot of this is restoration. This is restoration, this is original, restoration, 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 and this piece is part of the original channel that comes in here that would fill this lustration basin. It's a great term. So Elephantine Island, this is one of the reasons that I love this site, and one of the reasons that we dedicated several days to coming out here and studying the area more, because it's absolutely fascinating from a chronological perspective in terms of the different areas of occupation, Again, pre-dynastic, Old Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, late period, Greek and Roman era. Everybody was out here on Elephantine Island. This was a strategic location. Again, the first cataract on the Nile River, literally other than Abu Simbel, it was the primary entrance into the dynastic Egyptian kingdom. So here we see a whole variety of just broken stones and fragments of different pieces laying around. We found some interesting ones over here. Yeah, there's the little basin in this area here. Again, just fragments of broken stone and hieroglyphs and all sorts of stuff all over these. So here's a red granite slab that had something here, and again, the conventional term is hotep or altar, but you can see here that there's a circular ring around this and a little channel that drained out here. So again, we're talking about fluid dynamics and liquid flowing through this system and out here. And there's a good piece back here that has this, you know, Maltese Templar looking cross on it here. Another huge piece of granite that has a component of some sort that looks like a hinge. So again, we kept laughing yesterday because of the lady's response, and you know, it is literally Raiders of the Lost Ark, German archaeologists out here digging some ancient forgotten Israelite temple on one of the most mysterious areas in Egypt. One of my childhood dreams. Yeah, literally our childhood dream to out here. So we were kind of, you know, I like to, you know, not press these people, but I was asking some honest questions. I was asking about the pyramid, which we're about to see, and I'll give you the explanation of the conventional chronology. It's completely unexplained in terms of the function of this artifact. They call it a cult pyramid. Again, the term cult is applied when they have no idea exactly what the thing is for. But yeah, they are absolutely intensely interested in this area where this Israelite temple was located. And again, I'll get more into that story. Sorry, just things keep catching my eye. There's tons of artifacts out here and weird stuff just scattered all over the place. Okay, what do we have here? Distribution center. Distribution of what? And you'll see in through here, there's all sorts of big basins in this area. Distribution center. Certainly sounds industrial. And here is your first glimpse at the remains of, again, in my opinion, probably the most perplexing pyramid structure in Egypt. Doesn't look like much right now, but we'll get to the other side and you'll get to see what's on the inside of this thing. There's a dog over there taking a nap. So very weird stuff going on here at Elephantine Island. The Germans still looking for the Ark. Oh, those guys, they just like walked in there without getting a ticket. All right, so here you can see again in this distribution center here, there's more big basins here. There's a basin here, basin here, and here. And this, it looks like a pile of rubble now. So the conventional story is that this pyramid, and it was originally a complete pyramid, was built by either Huni, the pharaoh Huni, at the end of the 3rd dynasty, or also possibly attributed to Seneferu, the beginning of the 4th dynasty. You'll see here the first big lump of red granite that's part of the red granite bedrock. This pyramid is built on top of red granite bedrock. So they don't know who built this pyramid. Again, conventionally attributed to either Huni or Seneferu. Seneferu also being the pharaoh that is supposed to have been building the pyramids of Maidum, the Red Pyramid, and the Bent Pyramid in Dashur, but also built this mysterious structure out here on Elephantine Island. They call it a cult pyramid, and Seneferu may have also built, this is one of 7 different cult pyramids that may also be attributed to Seneferu. No inscriptions, no internal chambers, no burial. So they know, even according to conventional archaeology, that it is not a burial. 100% conclusively not a burial. So this here is a huge lump of red granite bedrock. They say that this thing is made of red granite, and there are definitely some pieces of red granite in here, like this is red granite, but some of this stuff definitely does not. This does not look like red granite. There is no quartz inclusions in this. You can definitely see granite, granite, granite,
So much different.
not granite. I don't know what type of stone that is. And a lot of these pieces, man, they just look melted and charred. Bizarre. Okay, so here's the first look at one of the namas. These, they call them panholes or namas in granite, which are huge eroded pits that form in granite. And you'll see that there's one of these panholes, granite panholes or namas, depending on your geographical location. You may also pronounce the G. It's G-N-A-M-M-A-S, namas or gnamas. So at the core of this pyramid, again, this piece, okay, so this is granite here. This is definitely not granite. This is not granite. Look how shiny this is. It's like glass almost, yeah. Definitely not granite. I don't know what this is. It's not quartzite either. It doesn't look like basalt. I don't know what this is, but it appears that the pyramid is mostly this is granite, this is granite. You know, I'm not a geologist, but I know what granite looks like, and this is definitely not granite. Okay, so now we're going to go into the core of the structure. This is all granite here. Here's more of these panholes, these huge eroded pits. This entire piece that I'm standing on here is a huge blob of granite. There's more, and I'll walk you through this entire area as we head toward this Israelite temple.
It exists.
it definitely exists. The lady was definitely trying to dissuade or deter our interest in their archaeological investigation of the area. They know exactly what they're doing, and exactly why they're over there, I don't know, because there's not, you'll see in just a minute, there's very little physical archaeological evidence, but they have found the foundations of this thing. So what exactly are they digging for out there? I don't know. So here's another one of these panholes, these namas. Again, this is granite. This is all granite. The whole bedrock, this structure is built on granite bedrock. Again, most of Aswan is granite bedrock. Famed granite quarries here in Aswan. There almost looks like there was a layer that may have covered this. This is an interesting layer here. You can see the mortar that's holding all of these stones together. This is definitely not Seneferu. If Seneferu started his pyramid building career at the Pyramid of Maidum, they were already super advanced. This is definitely not Seneferu level. Again, we're talking about conventional timeline here, just to establish the precedent for the chronology and antiquity of this pyramid. This ain't Seneferu. And it's not Huni either. At the end of the 3rd dynasty, they were building, you know, pretty sophisticated pyramid structures. This thing is old. This is like pre-dynastic. Again, obviously I think the pyramids are older than the dynastic chronology anyway. And all this in here doesn't look like granite either. On the core, we're in the core of the structure here. None of this looks like granite. This piece is granite. This is granite here. This is granite. And for those of you that have been following along, that have been waiting to see everybody's like, oh, we can only see your tattoos when you're pointing. Here's the new hand of tattoos from our Japan expedition. Lightning Chemistry. Go check out the new merch, Lightning Chemistry. Inazuma Kagaku. Lightning Chemistry. Available at thelandofchem.com. It's a badass t-shirt that has the same calligraphy but vertically. So anyway, inside this core, there's very little red granite. Like, these are not red granite. None of this is granite in here. So back to the configuration and the function of this thing. So they have this panhole here. These are caused by erosion. Over hundreds of thousands of years of erosion creates these pits. They're naturally occurring panhole erosion pits in the granite. You know, this causes by like whirlpool, water erosion, a mixture of different sediments and chemical constituents of water erosion will gradually erode out these pits. And they're all over the island. You see these all over Aswan, these Nama panhole erosion pits. It's 100% a natural feature. And I'll show you a few more around the outside of this thing. However, even though they are natural features, I absolutely believe that it is integrated into the function of this pyramid. So we have granite bedrock, granite, and another anomalous stone core. It had casing stones. Again, this is, I don't know what this is. I mean, this piece looks like, it looks like glass. And they say that there was a cone, like a pointed cone on the top of this pyramid, according to the archaeological reports on Elephantine Island's pyramid. So this is huge. Again, we're all this whole area, everything that you're going to see today is granite bedrock. Everything is sitting on top of granite. Here's another one of these. So we noticed this yesterday. There's like a channel that goes here, leading into another one of these huge eroded pits. we notice here that there was an unusual little outlet hole here. And I'll show you another big outcrop of granite over here that has these panholes. And just Google it. Google granite panholes, or GNAMMAS. And they're natural features. See one here. There's a series of them here. That being said, you could certainly use them. This big eroded hole here. And they've definitely built something in through here. So this is the same mix of stone. There's some granite and then this other type of stone that's in here. There's like a configuration of 3 of these. There's one here, there's one here, there's this big slab or blocking stone here, and then you see this shape in through here. So this is some restoration. Let me get down in here so you can see. They have some restoration work here. This is it's like a separation device, a filtering device, where perhaps solid material that was in the solution is here, and it only allows the liquid to flow into this lower basin. So again, although these are, in my opinion, natural features, just Google it if you don't agree with me, they could certainly be integrated as functional pieces, which is why they may have selected this site. There's a big basin here. Again, you can't see what's below this, but there may be some channels that connect this. It may also just be like a dam to prevent solution A from flowing into solution B and then solution C. Really weird stuff going on in this granite. And so remember from previous discussions, now this looks broken away here. This part looks broken, like they intentionally opened up one of these holes. See this piece here? That looks broken away. You can see where it's been broken down in through here to open up this. So this is a series of where there was a solid that was being filtered out. The solid would stay here, the liquid flows here, and then into basin number 3. Okay, so remember from previous discussions, we're going to talk about the color coding of stone. Awesome picture. The color coding of stone throughout the Egyptian pyramids. Black, white, and red. Black, white, and red are the 3 colors of the stone that were used to build the city of Atlantis. Black, white, and red. In all of the Egyptian pyramids, we have black, white, and red. So recall from previous episodes that they're all 3 dielectric materials. I think that may be the archaeological team. Is that them? That may be a different group. There's some old ladies in that one.
Yeah, some new people.
Yeah. All 3 dielectric materials. Limestone, white, being your primary storage device for electric fields. Black basalt. Anytime you see black basalt, think heat storage. And red granite, think inverse piezoelectric property for inducing ultrasound. Black, white, and red. The 3 colors of the stones used to build Atlantis, the 3 colors of the stones used to build the Egyptian pyramids, color-coded with knowledge indicating the properties and chemical composition of the stones and their function. Anytime you see these colors, that is a way to decode the function of any particular structure. Black, white, and red. If you see white, think dielectric electric field storage. If you see black, think heat retention, heat storage, and anytime you see red granite, ultrasound. Well, there just wasn't much back there. It's just, you know, okay, so we've covered my beautiful wife Alexa, Archaeoalchemy. Go subscribe to her channel as well. Link in the video description below. Okay, so again, granite bedrock in through here. Now we're gonna walk down. Okay, so here you can see more outcrops of red granite. This is all red granite in through here. The house over here is sitting on top of this red granite, and you can see these same panhole erosion features in the granite over here. Same type of features. There's a big blob of it over here. Everything, it's all red granite. This one over here has a big inclusion in it. You can see that black stripe here and this piece here. It's a big vein of maybe, so when it goes back to the geological composition of the stone here, Aswan granite is mostly composed of feldspar, mica, and quartz. So that may be an inclusion of either feldspar or mica. And we've talked about mica before. So for those of you that are on the Alchemists members only channel, we talked about mica being used in the pyramid complex at Teotihuacan. We talked about mica being found around the Bent Pyramid. In my episode on the function of Stonehenge and the primary obelisk or standing stone, they call it the altar stone of Stonehenge, being not silica sandstone, which the Sarsen stones are silica sandstones. The altar stone is a very specific type of high mica content stone. And mica is an extremely good dielectric material that has applications in high voltage components, which is exactly what we've been talking about regarding lightning being the power source of these systems. So we're walking through a big red granite outcrop. This is all red granite. You can see an interesting channel through here. Let me step back so you can see the channel that runs through here. This is an interesting piece here.
What do you think it is?
I would love to crack open one of those stones that's in the core of that pyramid, and I wonder if it's really crystalline like this.
That's beautiful.
And going back to my evaluation of the function, I certainly haven't put together all the pieces of this site. It's so mysterious. They were definitely using these granite configurations. You can see that there's like some mud brick here. They have something. There's kind of a channel flowing down into this panhole. This is a huge piece of granite. All of these natural features would be extremely useful if you were doing, you know, sacred alchemical, ancient magical rituals out here on the island, having your solution flowing through these red granite rocks. You know, emanating ultrasound. There you can see this is a natural erosion channel, but it may also have been utilized in the function of the site. So I think it's kind of both things here. Exactly like what we saw. So this is kind of coming full circle, where this is exactly what we see on the Giza Plateau, right? The utilization of natural resources. That is the biggest take home that I've been trying to express over, the last 6 months or so. The Egyptian pyramids are designed to harness the power of the natural resources here in Egypt. For example, on the Giza Plateau, they're using the iron oxide and metal ore mineral deposits on the Giza Plateau, natural features that are integrated into the function of the pyramid complex. Same thing here with this red granite outcrop. All of this natural stone material, the natural resources of the island, are being integrated into the function. Okay, so this is where things get interesting. This is where the team was digging. This is the area that was the location for this Israelite temple. This is where the German team was digging, with a specific interest in this area over here. So the young lady we were talking to yesterday said that this was the oldest part of the island, and it was originally the entrance into these structures. So this is it. This is, again, there's not much left today, but this is the location. So let's talk about Graham Hancock's work and this Elephantine Island Israelite temple. So the story goes that King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba had a son named Menelik. And Menelik was able to recover the Ark of the Covenant either right before or after the destruction of the temple, and he brought the Ark back to Egypt and stored it here in this mock King Solomon temple on Elephantine Island before moving it further into Ethiopia, which is one of the proposed final resting locations for one of the arks, plural, of the covenant. There were many of these things. So the German team was saying that this is it, like the oldest area of the temple here. And I'm really glad we got a chance to walk over here because I wanted to see this. Yeah, super cool. This formation over here. It's also been proposed that there's like tunnels and caves below Elephantine Island. Look at that, like roasted, burned piece in through here.
How far back does it go?
It doesn't go back very far. And you can see. This is definitely something important. I don't know, I get a weird sensation standing over here. So there's a circular feature here that caught my attention yesterday, and there looks like kind of channels that run up through the granite onto this top piece, and this is where they were having like a little photo shoot out here yesterday to celebrate the completion of their archaeological project. There's some remains of some mud brick, something here. I bet this area here connects down into those channels that lead out. And it's crazy thinking about that the Ark of the Covenant may have actually been stored out here.
Intuitively, where do you feel it was housed?
I mean, it's probably somewhere just like right in here, which is exactly where they were digging. Again, the Germans out here digging in an ancient Israelite temple proposed to be a housing of the Ark of the Covenant before it was moved out of Egypt. You see the desert over there, the Nile River in through here, move out of Egypt into Ethiopia. And we've been looking into some of the connections between the Ark of the Covenant and the Japanese artifacts. If you haven't seen our Let's Go episode on the Denjiri festival, so there is an artifact called, there's two. There's a small one called Mikoshi and a big one called Denjiri. And they both look exactly like the Ark of the Covenant. And the word Denjiri translates to drip or pour electricity. Den and jiri. To drip or pour electricity. It's actually the same. No, I take that back. It was den is electricity. Dendara is to drip or pour electricity, like the Dendara temple. Which, shout out to my other friend and good researcher, Hugh Evans. The Welsh translation is Tantara, which also means to drip or to pour electricity. So Denjiri, this electrical device. Den is the Japanese word for electricity. This is yeah, the cartouche of Khufu out here. I don't know if you can see that.
There's a ship.
Yeah, no, the ship. All right, I need a battery change. I'll be right back. All right, everyone. Hope you're enjoying the video. And if you want to help support the channel, you can pick up a copy of the book and grab some merch at thelandofchem.com. The second edition Egyptian blue version is now back in stock. Same text as the first edition, just a new color design and a brand new merch drop. Inazuma Kagaku, lightning, chemistry. Absolutely gorgeous kanji calligraphy designed by my Japanese tattoo artist Shin at Funky Guns in Kobe, and all of your favorites, including stickers. Links to everything in the video description below. Thank you all so much for the support. Now, back to the video. There's definitely something going on with the integration of the red granite in this area. Here, go ahead. Go ahead. No, it's okay.
You sure?
And I have my own hypothesis about the function of the Ark of the Covenant that I may get to later. It's slightly different than the conventional interpretation. There's definitely a connection between the red granite, bedrock, and the location of the temple over here. Again, the team, the lady we were talking to on the German team was saying that this is the oldest part of the Elephantine Island complex. And they've excavated all this down here. So you can see the layers of buildup. And they, not during this recent excavation, they were just excavating down here. But over time, they've excavated down through that whole area. So that's not the original ground level of the structure. Again, Nile River. over here. Yeah, it's a good shot. Get a nice view of Alexa there walking through the temple gate. And
It's a beautiful spot.
yeah, it's beautiful. This little island here is a huge outcrop of granite. It's all red granite bedrock. I cannot recommend highly enough coming out to this site if you have the opportunity. And for those of you that are interested in coming out here, 2026 tour. The first informal announcement for those of you that watched this long, you're the real ones. So 2026 Egypt tour, advanced planning and booking is underway. Send me an email, contact@thelandofchem.com, link in the video description below, and I'll make sure to put subject line 2026 Egypt tour, and I'll send you all the details. All right, so now we're going to take a look at these everybody's favorite artifact out here on Elephantine Island, the Naus. These huge destroyed red granite, and one's red granite, one's black granite artifacts out here in the rubble. So all of this is red granite rubble. And this is the black granite one. And on the inside here, you can see some red ochre.
That's cool.
It's graffiti. It's not original. It's ancient, but it's a Khnum god red ochre graffiti that was applied to the inside. You can see some quarrying marks here from, you know, plug and feather quarrying, where this part was broken off. All of this was quarried, most likely Roman era, late Greek, late Ptolemaic, Roman quarrying. See more quarrying marks here. Again, all this is just, you see on this piece here, there's a circle and a square in the middle. They were carving that into a millstone, a grinding stone. And this is the big one. Babe, go over there and stand next to this thing. Here you can see how exquisite the finish on this one is. This beautiful circular part here. It's unbelievably smooth. And there's Lex. Huge piece. And we'll show you from the top when we come up here, and I'll show you the top down view. So the conventional explanation for these things is Naus, N-A-O-S. statue housings, giant statue housings. And I'll show you at the top, you'll see little tube drills here on each side. So this had an opening, some doors that would open and close. Getting absolutely blasted by sand out here today. And look at this. Yeah, crazy though. Execution of this in here, really beautiful. Yeah, and all this is just rubble. You can see they were quarrying away this part here too. These are quarry marks where they were going to break off this piece and just utterly destroying with no disregard. Again, we're talking about like Romans here, not modern, Roman. Pouring up these exquisite artifacts just so they could haul away the stones and then build some other bullshit. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the most prominent feature of the site, the Khnum Temple. Look at this. All right, so the main thing I want to show you, well, a bunch of stuff actually. So this is where, at the beginning of the video, we saw that channel leading down the stairs. It comes from over here. But you can see there's huge dips in the floor up here. And it looks like these dips possibly connect into a red granite piece that may be so those stairs are over here. So this is the beginning of the staircase that has that channel going down the side of it. So it can't be drainage for anything off of the roof, because it's not going to come, because this is the highest point of the temple. There would have been columns up here, but there's like barriers here, so the water wouldn't go up and then down and then up. So I don't think that channel is for rainwater drainage. You can see that there's black granite, huge pieces of granite that are integrated into this later addition. And we'll walk around here and you'll see that this floor of the temple is literally built on the ruins of more ancient stuff. Here's what looks to be the top of a obelisk type piece, that capstone. And you can see this huge depression here, this concavity goes down into this red granite piece here. This is red granite, and there's a hole in the center of it, and it's literally in the middle of this concavity here. this big depression. So that is a bit of an anomalous feature there. Beautiful shot of the Nile River over there. Black granite piece here. There's some other big granite artifacts that I'll show you in just a second, because I do want to walk back around and get a shot of that naos from the top so you can see that. So this is the floor of the temple here. These columns all have hieroglyphs on them. So this is the base of the temple floor. And this is literally older parts of the temple. These pieces are all decorated in through here. That are literally the foundations of the later floor here. Yeah, same thing at Dendara Temple, where there's slices of columns that are underneath the temple floor. You can see here the hieroglyphs that are carved on this. It's part of the floor, so they used different parts of the temple and repurposed it in the floor. And we'll walk back around here so you can see this naos from the top. I'll show you these red granite pieces here. And then more red granite pieces here. So the Khnum temple. This was an original part of the structure, but it was expanded during all of the subsequent occupations of the island. So it dates back to the Old Kingdom, but then was later expanded upon through the Ptolemaic era. What we can see up here today is Ptolemaic period construction. I don't think the granite is, though. The sandstone portions that we saw, Ptolemaic era, I think the granite is the much older portions of the temple. And now we're going to take a look at this thing from the top. Again, bunch of granite rubble. Who knows what all of this stuff was originally? And look at this thing.
All right, everyone, I hope you're enjoying the video, and please remember to subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube if you're interested in the physics and chemistry technology of a lost civilization and the function of the Egyptian pyramids and other ancient structures from across the world. Thank you all so much for the support. Now, back to the video.
So we see this same thing in the Edfu temple, in its original place. And this, again, the term is naos, or naos. N-A-O-S. And we see this in the Holy of Holies, the inner sanctum of the Edfu temple. And it's in its original place in the back of the Holy of Holies chamber, the inner part of the temple in the Edfu temple, which also housed one of these solar barks. arc artifacts. If you want to see more investigation on those solar barks, arcs, temples, etc., again, go subscribe to Archaeoalchemy. Link in the video description below. Lex has done an exceptional series of videos on that.
So amazing that you're able to participate in the ritual in Japan.
Yeah. So
You're invited.
I got a chance to participate in this Denjiri Ark of the Covenant Artifact Ritual Festival. It's called Matsuri Denjiri, which is Denjiri Festival. And I got invited to participate in carrying the Ark of the Covenant, this artifact. I'll put a link to that episode in the video description below. If you're not subscribed to Let's Go with Lex and G, you gotta check that out. It's all of our international travel, adventure, and culinary experience content. Really amazing stuff from all of our expeditions around the world, including Japan. And it was quite an exciting conclusion to our last 3 months in Japan before we returned back here home in Egypt. And so now let's just do a quick look at the Nilometer, and then I don't know how long we've been filming out here, but it's time for lunch.
Maybe we could go for a swim.
Yeah, so one of my tour guests, I'll show you. I'll tell you the story when we get over there. So we're gonna go check out the last feature of the temple, this Nilometer. Again, beautiful shot. Beautiful shot of the Nile River. The Nilometer. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's going the wrong way. Hey. So we were concluding our expedition to Elephantine Island the other day, and here's a dolerite pounder, everybody's favorite. Oh, these things are super heavy, unbelievably heavy. Everybody's favorite lost ancient high technology tool, dolerite pounder. This probably weighs, this little ball, I mean, at least 20 kilograms. No, not 20 kilograms. 10 kilograms, 22 pounds. At least 10 kilograms. It's crazy heavy and super dense. My most hated episode ever at the unfinished obelisk in Aswan. If you haven't seen it, go watch it and you can complain like everybody else did. It's actually one of my favorite videos. Proud of that. Again, right on the Nile River. Huge outcrop of granite over here. Again, literally the entire city of Aswan is built on red granite. All of this, it's all red granite. We had a private felucca ride from here yesterday on the top of the boat at sunset. So I mean, it's not too shabby. All right, so here, there's a channel that makes a reappearance here. A little channel, not the same size as the other one, but it's a little channel here, and it goes and drains off into the river. 100% water drainage channel. Where does it come from? We don't know. It just kind of starts there. This may be obviously some restoration or something in through here. The full original configuration isn't here, but you know, that's definitely I have no argument that this, because it just drains right out here into the Nile River. So we're finishing our expedition the other day, and all of a sudden, so here you can see the measurements. For tracking the stages of the Nile River flooding. So again, these are called Nileometers, Nile meters. You know, all of a sudden there's commotion and everybody's like, whoa, like, what happened? What happened? And one of our tour guests had a bathing suit under her outfit and just decided to jump into the Nile River from here, and was taking a swim out here in the Nile River. Yeah, it's actually pretty clean down here. I wouldn't jump in there, but
It doesn't look so bad.
yeah, with all the, it's pretty nasty actually. But
Oh, there's some fish.
yeah, there's fish down in there. You don't want to eat those Nile River fish. If you saw all the contamination from the big tour boats. Anyway, guest took a little swim in the Nile River. All right, so that was a nice little peaceful conclusion for today's expedition. It's good to be back. Again, I apologize for the delay in videos, but had to do some work. And again, if you want to come for the, I'll clean my screen here, 2026 Land of Chem tour, it's going to be awesome. Send me an email. My email is in the video description below. contact@thelandofchem.com. Subject line 2026 Egypt tour, and I will send you all the details. Elephantine Island here in Aswan. See you next time. Masalema. All right, everyone, that is it for today's video. This was Sunday Site Visit 119, our expedition to Elephantine Island. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and remember to subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube if you're interested in the technology of a lost civilization, utilizing physics and chemistry, and the function of the Egyptian pyramids and other ancient structures from across the world. Click that little notification bell so you don't miss out on new episodes. Like, comment, share, and stay tuned if you want to help support the channel and get access to exclusive research content. Check out the Land of Chem members only channel and thelandofchem.com if you want to pick up a copy of the book or grab some merch. specifically the new Inazuma Kagaku Lightning Chemistry Absolutely Gorgeous Kanji Calligraphy t-shirt, available now at thelandofchem.com, link in the video description below. Also, don't forget, after you finish watching this video, please go subscribe to our 3 other channels: my wife Alexa's channel, Archeo Alchemy, our mutual travel, adventure, and culinary experience channel, Let's Go with Lex and G, and the best channel on YouTube, Egyptian Trash Cats. For all you cat lovers out there, ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you all so much for the support. I think that is it for today's episode. So I will see you next time. Yo, are you still watching this? Please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube and click that little notification button. New videos coming out every single week. And check out this other episode. Come on, do it. Do it now.